Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is BobLyn, aka PabLoon, and today I wanted to make a video on the Khabarovsk, or Kaba, or whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to pronounce KH as a H sound in Russian, so if we have any Russian or any Russian speakers or people who know how to pronounce it, please correct me. Anyways, the Khabarovsk. The reason I wanted to showcase this ship is because, first of all, it's a meme ship per definition. And it's also probably, if you ask me, the hardest destroyer to play in this game, or at least at tier 10. And it's also in the shipyard right now, and you guys have to stop inviting me when I'm making videos, because it obstructs the picture. Anyways, I'm just joking, by the way. We'll join a group here, but yeah, like I was saying, we just got this ship in the shipyard, and I think a lot of people are kind of conflicted if they should get this. It is a tier 10 premium DD, used to be a tech tree ship if you didn't know, but they made it into premium. And the Grozovoy and Delny came instead. But it's a pretty expensive price, and I can't remember specifically the price, but you guys that don't own this will probably know. I just remember seeing the price and thinking that is very expensive for a somewhat crappy boat. But enough of that. Today I'm going to teach you guys, or at least give you some tips and tricks on how I play this ship. I'm not always successful, as you guys maybe have seen in some of my shorts. This is one of the few ships I play that I have gotten 0 damage in. But let's talk about the build I am running on Kaba here. So, that's the wrong one. There we go. Elite bonus, I do take the advanced HE shell. You could also go for the main battery reverse, but honestly it doesn't make much sense since the turrets here, they actually turn 30 degrees per second. Back in the day, this used to be the fastest turn time of any turret. So you should really go with the advanced HE shell and get some better fire chance. We got 4.82 with the current elite bonus. And these 130mm guns, they are pretty goddamn dangerous for a destroyer, a Smolensk, a minnow, anything that does not have armor. You can actually fight in this thing. And this is probably one of the few DDs. I mean, the Kleber, the Rogolo, some of them out there can fight Smolensk. This is one of them. I have, on many occasions, fought Smolensks, one-on-one with their smokes, and actually managed to survive, because the AP damage on these guns, as you can see, is 508. They do pen quite well. The shell trajectory, the arcs, and the shell velocity is really good. So, it's an interesting ship. We are going to talk about the torpedoes in just a second here, but before this, I just want to show what the camo gives. It gives you main battery firing range, which is really nice. Moving along, there is a legendary module for the Kaba. And it is a pretty decent legendary mod, but as you can see, you lose 18% torpedo range if we're getting 12% more main battery range. And I actually play with this because Khabarovsk already has dreadfully short-range torpedoes, and you don't really use them that often. So the reason I take legendary mod is because I would rather have that extra range and then just need to get a little bit closer when I do need to use torpedoes. Because when you do commit to a torpedo run, you would want to get close anyway and, have some buffer so your torpedoes don't run out. I run the steering gear modification in the second slot because I have a tendency to just keep going with Kaba. If you want to run acceleration instead, that probably is the better option in most cases, but for me, personally, I run this. And now comes the the controversial meme part of this build. I mean, you could argue that this is a meme part, but propulsion modification 2, extra speed. With this thing, you can get up to over 50 knots with your speed boost, which is quite crazy, and everybody would probably say go for this instead. Yes, this is the better one, because you have a chance to actually get away from targets if you are in a pinch and need to heal back some HP. But I take this because I have this module, and my torpedo range is dreadfully short. Actually, in fact, with this mod right here, guys, my torpedo range is 4.13 kilometers. It's very, very short, guys. Very, very short. Now, they do hit mega hard, 4.7 thousand damage. It's very, very good. And they reload pretty fast. You have 10 of them. But yeah, you have to get close. And that is why I take the speed modification. For the commander here, we are just running a standard one. This is the build I'm running with. I take preheating here. You could argue taking artillery maintenance expert is good since you're a gunboat, but I really like preheating on Kaba because you can get into the caps very quick. We take victorious charge. These two are self-explanatory. You get a what's it called? Rapid reload. So I would love to get an extra one. That is why I take this. And we go for fully prepared, adrenaline rush, speed boost, mastery loader for the rapid reload, APCS, and giant hunter. Now, some people would say that you should take Citadel Strike, and either one of these is fine, I would say. The reason I take giant hunter is because whenever I do use my torpedoes, I definitely want them to hit hard. They have to hit hard. If I don't take out the target I'm, rushing down with these torpedoes, I will most likely die. Because you will take substantial amount of damage rushing down a battleship or something like that. So that's the reason I take Giant Hunter. You could take Citadel Strike simply because you do get Citadels with this thing. I mean, I've Citadel a ton of different cruisers, especially. I don't recall Citadeling a BB all too often, but I would imagine Alsace Republic, the less armored BBs should be able to be Citadel. But yeah, this is what I take. So enough of that. I have some different clips from different games that I will, commentate for you guys and kind of explain what I do and how I approach this ship. So I'll see you guys in the games. Okay, so one of the first and most important things when you're playing the Khabarovsk is analyzing the enemy team's destroyers, and the ones we're seeing here, the Yugumo, Shimakaze, and Elbing. It could almost not be any better, because that means nobody in the destroyer category on the enemy team can actually contest us in a gunfight. The Elbing, maybe, at longer ranges, but we have an advantage over all of the enemy destroyers, which is very, very huge for Kaba. If you are looking at the enemy team and you see Kleber, you see Attilio Regolo, and Z52 maybe even, you will win against the Z52 if it is a one-on-one and the skill levels are equal. But, if there's a Z52 shooting at you and you're getting shot at by other stuff, Z52 will definitely help you sink faster. So if you see those types of ships, destroyer DD hunters in the enemy team, you need to be kind of careful, because you could easily overextend with Khabarovsk. It's, as you can see here, we got over 50 knots, but the reason I'm not is because I'm turning. What I'm doing here would have been super risky against the Kleber or Regolo, but the reason I can do it is because I know it's just a Shimakaze and a Yugumo on the enemy team. And there's a high likelihood that they will not open up on me just because they know what I am. But here they are, and as soon as I see these two DDs, I open up with my AP. You should preemptively swap to AP when you're playing Kaba at the beginning of the game, because the first ships you're going to be fighting are typically destroyers. But as you can see here, in 3 salvos, the Shimakaze is already down to half his HP, and I'm going to keep focusing on him, and I'm going to use this island right here to cover myself from eventual torpedoes. That's the reason I went over here, is because while I'm in this stationary position, I want to be able to, hide behind this island. I did not take acceleration, hence my acceleration is going to be very slow. And that is one of the biggest reasons why Khabarovsk can be so hard to play. Terrible turn time, horrible acceleration, dreadful concealment. But what you lack in maneuverability and, acceleration, you make up for it with these amazing guns. The Yugumo is taken out, and we know that the Shimakaze is somewhere around here, so I'm actually going to keep using this island and just wait for him. If I rush out past this island here, and I notice the Shimakaze, I probably won't have time to stop my ship or to turn in time to dodge his torpedoes, so we're just going to use the island here. And this is the safest way of dealing with these two DDs. We don't have sonar, we, like I said, don't turn very well, so the likelihood of us dodging both the Yugumo and the Shimakaze is low. And we do take one here, but luckily I have a really, really good Colombo teammate here who he finished off all the DDs I was hunting. Every time I was close to killing a DD, this guy Arturo here just came with the fucking sap from the sap slap from downtown. And, that's what the Khabarovsk is really good at, taking over a cap like this and completely dispersing these DDs. Now here comes the next part of the clip. This is the other part of the Khabarovsk. So let's say you did the first thing, the first step, take out the DDs on your flank. well, now you have free roam to pretty much just farm any broadsiding battleship with your HE. The fire chances you saw is 4.80 or something, and your reload is 5 seconds. So with the rapid reload, you can see we have a 3.5 second reload going, and we can really dish out a lot of damage. So that is the first clip I have for you guys, and it kind of showcased the raw power of the Khabarovsk in a DD engagement. You know, almost 500 damage per hit, and you have 8 shells in total you can dish out. So let's take a look at the next clip here, where there is going to be a CV in the game. So I know I just talked about analyzing the enemy team, but I want you to look at this team and think to yourself, what would be the biggest threat to us in this game? Well, first of all, there's a CV, it's a Taiho, so the torpedo threat from that guy is pretty huge. Granted, his planes are not that tanky and his dive bombers are not the biggest threat, but if he gets a good salvo of torpedoes on us, we could lose a lot of HP. No, but the biggest threat in this game are the 2 Colombo players. Colombo is actually one of the hardest ships to deal with when you're playing Kaba, because you don't have the turn time, you don't have the maneuverability or the acceleration or propulsion to stop your ship in time. And because I'm not running prop mod, it obviously makes it even worse. So what I'm going to be focusing on the most this game is trying to make sure I'm very far away from the Colombos and always keeping an eye on them. Now I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to the most interesting parts of this game, and trust me guys, we are going to get a glorious CV, annihilation this game. I made sure of that, don't worry. Alright, so it's, what, 5 seconds later in the game, that wasn't that big of a skip. But I noticed 2 DDs pushing in, and obviously it's a gearing in the summers. They do have a lot more firepower in terms of guns than Shima and Yugumo. But I am going to immediately open up at this gearing, because he's just sailing straight, and the Khabarovsk guns are precise, fast shells, good arcs. You can see that right here. We have already taken this gearing down to half HP, and the reason I'm deciding to open up here is because I see that the Colombo is looked in another direction, and he's actually turning away. I don't see the other Colombo, so I'm assuming he's behind the island on the enemy side of the map. Gearing here is pretty much dead, it goes down like that, and you saw how we pretty much took all that guy's HP in, what, 1 rapid reload? So while it's still running, I'm gonna focus my attention on Yamato here. I am constantly being aware of the 2 Colombos out on my left side. One of them you can see in the left hand side of the screen, and the other one is somewhere behind the island. So I'm just gonna focus my attention on Mr. Yamato here, and I'm constantly looking at the map to figure out if the Taiho is going to go for me. You could look at the speed, we're going 45 knots plus, and this speed boost is really good for helping you dodge torpedoes actually. Now this is the time that we have to stop and think. The Summers is in the middle of the cap, and I will want to focus him as soon as he is able to be shot, and that is actually right now. Now, I didn't look at this in time, and we probably could have done way more damage, but I finally realized that he's out in the open, and I'm gonna swap to AP. Because the easiest targets and the best way to get parameters of success in Kaba is to take out the DDs first, because if you're the only enemy, the only destroyer in the game, you pretty much have a monopoly on, flanking and doing whatever you like. So he goes down, and now I see a golden opportunity. We have 2 speed boosts left, and we have a full round of torpedoes that has not been used yet. And you could bet your ass that I am going to be trying to take out this Taiho. So, while I'm doing that, I'm going to be shooting at Yamato here. We have not been very lucky with fires this game, and, ideally you would be seeing a triple fire on this guy already. Kaba is an amazing HE spammer, and it's just kind of unlucky I haven't gotten one yet. But I'm gonna keep going. You could have swapped to AP. The AP also works wonders on the bow and stern of a battleship, but since you have rapid reload, since you have a high fire chance, I don't see the reason of not using HE. You notice that I'm also maneuvering for the enemy CV planes, and even though we are in the Khabarovsk, we actually managed to dodge most of them. Oh wait, we dodged the whole thing. Okay, Lactor. Right, Wargaming. Great game design. But here we are. Mr. Taiho is... well, he's trapped in the corner. We cornered the Taiho, and there's only really one thing left to do. Now, he still has torpedo bombers, and obviously we don't want to get hit by those. So we dodged them. Easy peasy. Now this guy right here is probably pretty new to CVs, I would imagine. So that is also one of the reasons why I decided to go for him. If you see that the enemy carrier player is having a hard time hitting you in a Khabarovsk with his torpedo bombers, it is a pretty clear indication that you could maybe go for this rush here. But here we see, even with the legendary mod, even with the short torpedo range, we still managed to go close to him because we have the speed and we completely annihilate him with 6 torpedoes. So that's how you could take out a CV in the Khaba. You have to clear the way first. You need to make sure you have cover, in the sense that your team is engaging the other battleships and cruisers, and you have to be aware at all times. All these lessons here that I am applying to Khaba really apply to anything in this game, but especially Khaba, because you have to pretty much be perfect in this ship. You have to play a perfect game to, you know, have good results in this. And like I said in the beginning of my video, I have gotten plenty of games where I got 0 damage. I am not afraid to admit that. There's even a short video where I get dumpstered by a Malta in the first 2 minutes of the game. And Death from Above put it pretty well. He said, well, you are playing Khabarovsk, so that is to be expected. A CV player will go for you because you're an easy target. And that's something you should know, guys. Khabarovsk gets targeted by CVs relentlessly because it's so easy to hit. Anyways, that is it for this clip. I'm gonna go on to the next clip here and show you guys how to deal with cruisers. So we are back on this map again, and this time we are facing a Santander. Now the Santander, the tier 9 in the Pan American line, would absolutely annihilate the Khabarovsk. So as soon as I spot this shimmer and see that he is on this flank, the Santander, I decide to go behind this, you know, beautiful little island again. Just like we did last time, we're going to use the island for cover, single out our target, and try to take out this shimmer here. He is going to get away though, and I see that the Santander is moving eerily close to this island. Now, what he forgets is that Khabarovsk does have torpedoes. Sometimes people forget that. It's kind of funny. And I'm looking over the island here to see where's he kind of going. And he seems to be going forward. So once I'm undetected, we are just going to, you know, pedal to the metal, full throttle ahead. And we're going to just rush this guy. Now, remember he has torpedoes. So I'm actually going to smoke up. And seeing as he is in a very committed turn here, this is the easiest torpedo salvo you could imagine. I was not expecting this. But I guess that's my next tip is you got to have some, you know, cajones, balls, I guess that's what you call. You gotta have some, you know, stupidity in you to go for these types of runs. Otherwise, you won't be successful. What's the cringy, the cheesy saying? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Well, very very true. That really applies with the Khaba here, and that is one of the reasons we could take out that Santander. So when you're fighting cruisers, make sure that you are alone. Make sure you have the cruiser all to yourself. I'm going to put up a scenario here for you guys. I talked about being able to fight a Smolensk or a Minnow. Yes, you can definitely do that, but make sure you're not targeted by other enemy ships. If you are, let's say you're playing Encounter, a very, very open map, not many islands, you're out in the open and you spot a Smolensk. There's nobody there. That is the situation you fight the Smolensk. The reason I went for that Santander is because he was all alone out there. It was basically only me and him, and we had the island cover. I also have a clip here coming up after this where I'm actually fighting an Austin. Probably the worst ship to be fighting, but you guys will see the reason why I decided to keep fighting this Austin. He makes a pretty huge mistake. But anyways, here you see we just completely flipped this game in a very, very quick succession because of, you know, the flank collapse. And that is probably the strongest thing with this ship here is you have this ability to, you know, flip a flank or take over a flank in a matter of minutes. So let's take a look at this next clip I have for you guys where we are going to be... So here we are. This is the final clip I'm going to show you guys. Like I said just before, the fact that you can take over a flank very, very quickly and easily if you have the right teammates to back you up and the right approach. This is what you're going to see here. We're going to see, we don't really know what's going to be coming on the other side of the cap here, but we can expect probably a cruiser, maybe a DD, and probably also a battleship. Spoiler alert, that's what's going to come. So we're going to be facing a Saiyajin, a Shimakaze, and I believe it is an Alsace out there far back. You're going to see them here in just a minute. So I'm going to go into the cap with using my speed boost, so I have the shortest travel time to the cap, and maybe then we can actually get it before they do. There is an Alsace spotted out there, and I notice I'm spotted and detected, so that can only mean one thing. It is this Shimakaze here. As soon as you're detected in this ship, you will know it's a DD, because the only other ships you have a better detection than are cruisers and battleships. Even some cruisers have better detection than you. Maybe even Saiyajin, I don't know. But here you see, this is a Saiyajin. Same, you know, hull as a American light cruiser. I'm pretty sure it looks kind of like an Atlanta, right? And the Austin, and you just see how we're tearing this guy up. We even use our smoke a little bit here to conceal ourselves, but just the speed itself is going to make it super hard for this Saiyajin to deal with us. And notice how we are holding 3 people hostage here, or, well, we can't really call it hold it hostage, but I am completely blocking this cap. Now, the Alsace here, I don't know what he's doing, and I honestly don't know what the Shimakaze is doing, but I don't believe that many other DDs would be able to hold a cap like this. Sure, there are some, and you guys probably know who they are, but Khabarovsk is just deadly, especially against lightly armored cruisers, and you just saw how fast that guy went from a lot of HP to not that much. So we're gonna continue moving on here, and I know that there is a Shimakaze out there to my right, so I'm constantly kind of looking out there, seeing if I can spot a smoke screen or anything that's gonna indicate to me what he's doing. I don't see the spotted ribbon, you know, popping up, letting me know that I've spotted an enemy ship. So I'm just going to keep going, kind of altering my course here and there to make sure that the torpedoes, maybe they miss. But I'm actually kind of scared here because I kind of have to go straight to clear this island and be able to turn away. And that is the time slot where the Shimakaze could take me out. I see his smoke out there, and I see it's going behind the island. So I'm like, okay, that's my cue right here. I'm just going to go rush this Alsace. Again, we're super unlucky with fires this game right here. I don't know what's going on with Khabarovsk fires today, but you know, this is how you deal with a battleship. You just sit here and spam him with HE, and I should be ideally using my rapid reload here. But I think I was sincerely hoping to get a fire and then, you know, stack a couple permafires on him. I noticed the CV is very present over here with his planes. He is trying to take out my teammate right behind me. So I increase my speed. I want to make sure that I'm a hard target to hit, and at the same time also steer my ship straight towards the enemy CV. If you look at the minimap, he is actually just ahead of us, and I am approaching another target to torpedo whilst I'm gunning down the Alsace here. Now we're getting pretty close to this Tai-Ho, and I don't want to, you know, take unnecessary damage, so I'm just going to try to help my team take this guy out. And unfortunately, my team is, well, fortunately, my team is, you know, too quick at killing him, so we don't get to do the torpedo thing, which I just so dearly love to do with this ship. There is something satisfying about, you know, torpedoing a CV with probably the shortest range torpedoes at tier 10. But there we go, he's taken out, and the Alsace is our next target, so I'm gonna help my team try to deal with this guy. There is an Austin somewhere around this map, and we finally see him in the middle of B. Now, my Brindisi is super low, and the other teammate I have that, you know, is around here is a DD. He's in C now. And then there's this Alsace. So while they are dealing with the Alsace, I'm going to try to get close. There's also a DD rushing him, but my main target here is the Austin. To be honest, I am the only one who can actually deal with the Austin at this point in time. The Brindisi can get a good salvo in on him, but realistically, this Austin could take all of us out pretty easily. We see the gearing popping up here. Easy target for me. I'm going to use my rapid reload just to make sure that he goes down. And there we see the Austin opening up. This is where it gets very, very dangerous for me. And I just have to focus this guy very fast. We have to avoid his sap at all cost, and that's why we're going to stay at full speed most of the time, trying to get away, kiting, and being a hard target to hit. If you played the Austin, you know that ships at these ranges are immensely hard to hit with those shells. And you can see how easy it is for me just to land hit after hit after hit, even citadels. Yes, we get some non-pins, yes, we get some half-pins, but the cadence and the speed of these shells is what really is going to kill this guy in the end. Now, my Blitz Yeeter, or whoever torpedoed this guy, did a good job and actually hits 1 or 2 torpedoes here and takes out the Austin. But I don't think this Blitz Yeeter would have been able to take out the Austin if it wasn't for us engaging him first. Now, he did a great job, this Blitz Yeeter, and helped me out quite a bit. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys that it is actually possible to take out light cruisers like the Austin that is literally made to kill DDs with the Khabarovsk. So the game is about to end here, and that is going to be it for my tips and guide on how I play the Khabarovsk. I hope you guys got something out of this, and if any of you were wondering if you're going to buy this, I hope I kind of shed some light on the pros and the cons of this ship. And if you are going to get this, now you have some tips and first-hand experience from somebody who's played this thing quite a bit. I got this way back in 2020, I think. And I haven't played it much, but it's always been a ship that I pull out just to have fun once in a while. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I want to thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one, and my name has been BobLyn, aka PabLoon, and I'm signing out.